Imagine waking up one morning to a world that has completely changed. News spreads rapidly across television, phones, and social media. Tensions between powerful nations have escalated beyond diplomacy. What began as political conflict has turned into a global military confrontation. Trade routes are disrupted, financial markets panic, and governments rush to secure their economies. In moments like this, people everywhere begin asking the same question: what will happen to money? And in the modern era, that question naturally extends to cryptocurrency. For many years, cryptocurrencies have been described as an alternative financial system. Unlike traditional money issued by governments, crypto operates on decentralized networks that exist across computers all over the world. Supporters believe that this decentralized structure could make crypto more resilient during global crises. But if a third world war were to occur, the reality would likely be far more complex. At the beginning of such a global conflict, traditional financial markets would probably react with extreme volatility. Stock markets might crash, currencies could lose stability, and governments would likely impose emergency financial controls. History shows that during wartime, nations often try to protect their economies by restricting capital movement, freezing certain assets, and prioritizing military spending. In that chaotic environment, cryptocurrencies could initially experience a dramatic surge in attention. When people fear that banks may become unstable or that their savings could lose value, they often search for alternative stores of wealth. Bitcoin and other major cryptocurrencies have sometimes been described as digital gold, meaning assets that people might turn to when traditional systems are under stress. However, the early phase of a global war could also create serious challenges for crypto. Markets thrive on stability and communication. If global internet infrastructure becomes unstable due to cyber warfare, infrastructure attacks, or government restrictions, cryptocurrency networks could face disruptions. While blockchain systems are designed to be decentralized, they still rely on the internet and electricity to function. Without those, even the strongest blockchain network would struggle to operate normally. Another factor to consider is government response. In times of war, governments often tighten control over financial systems to prevent capital flight and maintain economic stability. Some countries might restrict cryptocurrency trading or attempt to regulate digital assets more aggressively. They could see crypto as a tool that allows money to move outside official channels, which might conflict with wartime economic policies. But at the same time, cryptocurrencies might also become extremely valuable in regions directly affected by war. Imagine a population experiencing banking shutdowns, currency collapse, or severe inflation. In those situations, people might rely on crypto wallets to store value or transfer money internationally. For refugees and civilians fleeing conflict zones, the ability to carry wealth digitally rather than physically could become incredibly important. There is also the role of international sanctions. In modern geopolitics, economic sanctions are often used as powerful tools against countries involved in conflict. Cryptocurrencies could potentially provide alternative financial routes for individuals and businesses trying to bypass these restrictions. This possibility has already been discussed many times in global financial debates. However, it is important to remember that cryptocurrency markets are highly speculative. During a massive global crisis like a world war, investors might behave unpredictably. Some may rush into crypto seeking safety, while others might sell their holdings in order to secure cash, food, or essential supplies. As a result, crypto prices could experience enormous swings, both upward and downward. Mining is another aspect that would be affected by a global war. Cryptocurrency mining requires large amounts of electricity, hardware, and stable infrastructure. If war disrupts power grids, supply chains, or semiconductor manufacturing, the mining industry could face serious limitations. Some mining operations might shut down entirely if energy becomes too expensive or if equipment becomes impossible to replace. Yet, the decentralized nature of cryptocurrency could also prove surprisingly resilient. Because blockchain networks are distributed across thousands of computers in different countries, they cannot easily be shut down by a single government or military action. Even if certain regions lose connectivity, the network could continue functioning elsewhere. This global distribution is one of the core ideas behind crypto's design. Cyber warfare would likely become one of the most important battlegrounds in a world war scenario. Governments and intelligence agencies might attempt to disrupt financial systems through hacking or digital attacks. Cryptocurrency exchanges, wallets, and blockchain infrastructure could become targets. Security would become more critical than ever. In response to these threats, crypto communities and developers would probably work rapidly to strengthen network resilience. New privacy technologies, stronger encryption, and decentralized financial tools might emerge faster than ever before. In times of crisis, technological innovation often accelerates. Another interesting possibility is the role of stablecoins. These are cryptocurrencies designed to maintain stable value by being linked to traditional currencies like the US dollar. During wartime instability, stablecoins might become extremely popular for international payments and digital commerce, especially if traditional banking networks become slow or restricted. At the same time, governments might also accelerate the development of their own digital currencies, often called central bank digital currencies or CBDCs. In a world war scenario, governments would want faster and more controllable financial systems. CBDCs could allow authorities to monitor transactions, distribute emergency funds, and manage wartime economies more efficiently. This could create an unusual financial landscape where decentralized cryptocurrencies exist alongside government-controlled digital currencies. The tension between these two systems might define the future of global finance. Public perception of cryptocurrency would also evolve during such a crisis. Some people might view crypto as a symbol of financial freedom, a system that operates independently of political conflict. Others might see it as risky or unreliable compared to traditional government-backed money. Over time, the survival of cryptocurrency during a world war would depend on several key factors: the stability of the internet, access to electricity, government regulation, and the ability of blockchain networks to adapt to extreme global conditions. It is also worth considering that global wars often reshape technology in unexpected ways. The internet itself grew out of military research. GPS technology was developed for defense purposes before becoming essential for everyday life. In a similar way, the pressures of a world war could push blockchain technology into new roles that we cannot fully predict today. For example, blockchain might be used to secure military supply chains, verify digital identities, or protect critical communication networks. These applications could increase the importance of decentralized technology far beyond financial speculation. But there is also a darker possibility. If the war becomes severe enough to damage global infrastructure on a massive scale, digital systems of all kinds could struggle to function. Without electricity, satellites, and communication networks, even the most advanced technology would face limitations. This reminds us of an important truth. Cryptocurrency does not exist in isolation. It is part of a larger technological ecosystem that includes the internet, global energy systems, and international cooperation. In the long run, the fate of crypto during a world war would likely mirror the fate of the global digital world itself. If the internet survives and continues to connect people across borders, cryptocurrency could continue operating and perhaps even grow stronger as an alternative financial system. But if the conflict disrupts global infrastructure too severely, crypto could temporarily lose much of its usability until stability returns. One of the most powerful aspects of cryptocurrency is that it represents an idea as much as a technology. The idea is that financial systems can exist without centralized control, powered by mathematics, cryptography, and global collaboration. Ideas are difficult to destroy. Even if infrastructure is damaged or markets collapse temporarily, the knowledge behind blockchain technology would still exist. Developers, engineers, and communities could rebuild networks once stability returns. Throughout history, humanity has shown remarkable resilience in rebuilding after crisis. Financial systems collapse and are rebuilt. Technologies disappear and reappear in new forms. The same could be true for cryptocurrency. So if a third world war were to occur, crypto would likely face its greatest test. There would be chaos, volatility, and uncertainty. Some projects might fail, exchanges could collapse, and prices could swing wildly. But the core networks, especially the most decentralized ones, might continue running quietly in the background, maintained by nodes scattered across the world. In a strange way, that is the true experiment behind cryptocurrency. It was designed to operate in a world where trust in traditional institutions might break down. A global conflict would push that design to its limits. No one can say with certainty how crypto would perform in such an extreme scenario. But one thing is clear. The relationship between war, technology, and money has always shaped the course of history. And if the world ever faced a third global war, the future of cryptocurrency would become part of that story, a digital system trying to survive in the most uncertain chapter humanity has ever written.